Well, here we are. It's the first podcast. Steve, you ready for this?
Absolutely, Jeff. How about you?
Oh, I've been excited for weeks knowing this was coming up, and now it's our first one, so let's get at it. What have you been shooting lately?
Well, Jeff, 2 weeks ago I shot the local Griffin, Georgia gun club match. You know what surprises me about this match every month? They had 131 guns shooting a local match. Yeah, it's crazy, right? So they've got a Friday afternoon session, a Saturday morning session, and a Saturday afternoon session. So I took that opportunity because it was nice and hot out to shoot three different divisions. So I did okay. I came in .08 seconds to second place behind Chris Barrett in rimfire pistol open. I shot pretty well in rimfire rifle open, took the overall match win in first place there, and I was uncontested in the single stack division. So it was pretty good weekend. How about you, Jeff? You been shooting it all lately?
Yeah, we have a third Saturday match at the Wyoming Club every month, and this month I shot rimfire rifle open, and doesn't happen much, but I was actually able to beat a one Colby Pavlock for the match.
No way. There's been a Colby sighting.
Yes, Colby is now in Florida, and we're glad to have him down here, and he's going to be shooting a number of our matches. And I, he's 3 months out from the last time he shot a match, and for those that have ever shot the WAC, we shoot in covered bays, and it's kind of a home field advantage I had, but I'm going to take it, and for the win. And then
I would.
This week we've got our last weekly match. We put a special one on Wednesday, allowing any of the shooters to get a final qualification for upcoming matches. So that's what we've got going. And you know what? I'm glad you asked me about it. I shoot down here in Florida. I know you're shooting in Georgia, and it gets really hot. And I wanted to give out this little tip to all the shooters out there of what I like to do, and it's what I call load your gun, load yourself. And what that is after you're done shooting, of course, you've got to go back to your range bag, get your ammo, get your mag set for your next string, and that's a perfect time to take a drink of water, take a bite of something to eat so you don't get hungry, because by the time you're thirsty or hungry, it's too late. So next time you're in a match, regardless of where you're shooting, think about doing that, and I guarantee you by the end of the day, you're going to go, I never got thirsty, and I never got hungry, and you can stay focused on the match.
Hey, Jeff, did you see my post out on Facebook last week with my new Diva fan?
I did. That was pretty good.
Hey, I'm telling you what, over there at the World Speed Shoot here a few weeks ago, it got hot. So your friend down there in Florida, Ryan Rhodes, he had his rigid Diva fan going, and so I'm up my cart game as well. So I got the Diva fan, I've got the umbrella holder, and I'm going to be ready for these upcoming matches in Florida here next month.
Yeah, you turn into everybody's new best friend when you have one of those.
Absolutely. So, Jeff, I wanted to share just a little tip and trick. So here a couple of weeks ago, I was struggling with 5 to go. What plate do you miss the most on 5 to go?
Oh, I'd have to say it's that 18-yard plate number 4.
Yeah, it got the best of me, and typically when I see people miss that plate, including myself, I always just shoot over the top of that. And so what I forget from time to time when I'm setting up my stance to the plate orientation is I had my stance a little bit more open where my feet were equal distance apart and facing more downrange instead of having my right foot back. And it's something that one of my coaches way back in the day when I used to shoot trap, I would be shooting station number 5, and an angle bird would come out to the right, and you know what happened? I would shoot over the top of the bird. And why is that? Because I didn't have my right foot back far enough. And so what happens is, at least for me, when I close my eyes and I pivot like I'm shooting a rimfire rifle open or a PCC gun, if I try to swing the gun parallel, so aim at maybe like a picture on your wall, and if you have 2 pictures on the wall the same height, start at one with your eyes closed and swing it to the other towards as you're moving left to right, and I'm right-handed. Once I get to the right picture, it's up in the air slightly, and it's just how my body unwinds. And so what I did is I adjusted my feet position, and sure enough, I was hitting right at the center of that plate number 4. But also the key for me, because I've got one of the fastest transitions going from plate 4 to the stop plate is hey, it's just not an upper body game. That's where you got to use your lower body and kind of push your left knee forward and drop your right knee slightly, and you'll get on that stop plate really, really fast. So that's my tip and the trick for the day of one of my favorite stages, 5 to go.
Awesome. I'm going to have to try that the next time I'm at the range because I have that same tendency, so I'm going to have to remember that trick. Thanks.
All right, so here's what we're going to do. We've got the Larry Joe Steeley Jr. of Steel Target Paint. How you doing, Larry?
Hey, guys. I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on the show.
Hey, how could we have the first Steel Target Paint podcast without the man himself?
Well, it's an honor, guys. I appreciate it.
All right, so let's, why don't you spend just a couple minutes and give us a little bit of your background as the humble paint salesman.
Well, it as far as Steel Target Paint goes, it started on the cowboy range one day when we were painting the targets, and I had taken some of our other branded products out to help them out and realized there was a need. And our company was actually founded by my father, who had a philosophy of find a need and fill it. So I've always kind of had that mindset and saw a need for a product designed specifically for painting steel targets. And one thing led to another, and here we are, and it's really been a crazy ride. And one that amazes me every single time I process the progress and the success that we've had so far with all of our sponsored shooters and team members and social media. The whole thing has just grown like a wildfire. It's just been incredible.
It has grown at such an exponential rate in such a short period of time. You know, it was, just about 2 years ago to the day when you and I first met down in Mississippi.
Yeah, that's right. I reflect on that, too. Actually, I've got that picture hanging on my wall in the collage that you guys presented me at Worlds last year. And that was the day that kind of started it all for the team. You've done a great job running this team, buddy, and I'm always grateful.
I appreciate it. It's been very fulfilling, and it's great to be a part of something special for sure. So we get a lot of questions while we're out on the range. Some people hear about rainbow technology and they hear about steel target paint. What's really the difference between rainbow technology and steel target paint?
Well, Rainbow Technology is our company. That's the parent company that has been in existence since 1971. This is a family business, and we have over 1,000 products in our line that's tailored pretty much to the utility industry. We have, contracts all over the world now, and so that's the company and the product lines that fall within Rainbow Technology. Steel Target Paint was kind of an offshoot because paints in general is a very large product line for us. So I had an extensive background in paint products. So I knew from looking at steel targets kind of the characteristics that needed to be developed in a paint product for it to perform the way it needs to perform, to develop and deliver all the benefits of a product made just for that specific purpose, which is unique in that there's never been a product developed specifically for painting steel targets.
Yeah, it seems like that it's such an obvious need, and it's amazing that somebody hasn't done it before you guys, and the quality of the product is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, and we hear that a lot. There is a bit of a learning curve to it, as people who have used the product have discovered. It's not your everyday hardware paint. It's got a lot of paint in it. It's got a forceful spray. It's designed for one shot covers the spot, and that is our key slogan for that product, because it really does that. When you learn how to use it that way, you can really save a lot of money on paint and get a big bang for the buck and how far that product goes.
Larry, there's a video that you and I believe Justin put together that's out on rangestore.net. Could you walk us through some of the fundamentals or principles around proper painting technique with steel target paint?
Sure, man. Yeah, in the video we talk about some of the basic things and the differences that I was alluding to a few minutes ago. But the solids content in the can, it's got a whole pound of paint in the can, and there's a lot of paint resin, which gives us the hide that we need to cover. One shot covers the spots. The spray pattern is also pretty forceful, so it comes out pretty fast. So you want to get the paint to the target in a way so that it performs as designed. So one shot covers a spot. So the product is designed that way. It is also, because the product has got so much solids and the resin in it, it's got to be handled correctly. It's got to be shaken well, especially on the initial spray. So, you know, the ball on the bottom of the can is basically stuck in the mud. It's down in that resin. So you got to shake it till the ball comes loose. So the ball helps mix all of that resin up into the solution. And that's true for any paint, but especially this one because it has so much solids in it. When you spray it, okay, and you're done for the day, or you're done for a while, or certainly before you store it, you need to flip it upside down, clear the button to blow the paint, all of that resin out of the valve and out of the button so that it doesn't clog, and that is key.
Yeah, because there's so much solids in that paint. If you leave it overnight, you could have a clogged nozzle on your hands. That's a great point.
We try to teach people at the matches these basic things, you know, and it seems so fundamental, you know, because the mindset of people is that spray paint, and, you know, they don't pay it much attention, but this is not your everyday spray paint. It has a single purpose in its design, so it needs to be treated as such. So we typically like to do before a match, we'll set up a target with some bullet hits on it, and then demonstrate the one shot covers a spot. We'll demonstrate how to flip it over and clear it. And also, too, if there's wind, you know, is a factor we can't control. You know, and sometimes that wind will blow your bullet right off the target. I know y'all have seen that a few times. But
that's never happened to me.
Yeah, certainly it's an excuse that we might use from time to time. But the paint is definitely affected by the wind, and we need to be careful and be mindful of our neighbors out there when we're running down to paint targets, that the wind's not blowing paint over onto our buddy next to us. But it will require some adjustment in the distance at which you hold the paint to the target if the wind's really blowing. If it's not, then the typical distance is about 8 to 10 inches, and then it should do just a fine job. But yeah, it takes some getting used to.
Piggyback off of the spray paint or spraying of the paint. I'm not sure whoever came up with the can gun idea, but I always keep a couple in my range bag. They are money. Love those things.
Yeah, we've been actually real successful with those. We've been giving a lot of them out to some matches that we sponsored to get folks used to them, how to use them. You know, the benefits that they offer is that it does hold the can farther away from you. It has like a 1911 pistol style grip on it, which is fun, and it has a trigger, so that's even more fun. So anyway, you get to practice shooting paint, and it makes it a little bit more fun.
Absolutely.
Larry, I shoot a lot of USPSA, and I'd heard something about a new paint you've got out that might be helping USPSA shooters.
Yeah, that's correct. I appreciate you bringing that up, Jeff. We do. We have a new Target Tan. This product is a direct result of our customers and the competitors out there asking for a product that they can use to spray paint their steel targets to look like cardboard targets, like the USPSA silhouette targets. Their comments are, we want the same consistent sight picture when we're practicing on our steel that we get in a match. In addition, they don't want to have to keep buying cardboard targets when they can just paint their steel to look like cardboard. So it's a win-win, and we got enough requests for it that we went to the lab. We developed the color. We had a number of different samples to try before we matched the color just right, and developed the actual steel target one shot covers a spot formulation. that was a challenge, but we accomplished that. Now the product's available now on rangestore.net.
Fantastic. I'm looking forward to getting a can.
You got one on the way, buddy.
All right, all right.
You don't even have to ask. You shall receive.
Yeah. Well,
sometimes it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Well, we do want to get some out there so some of the USPSA and IPSC guys can, start using it and get the word out. And as we've started this whole thing, we've been pretty generous with samples on new products to demonstrate and support our shooters and the sport in general.
Well, it's interesting you mentioned IPSC because I do know they actually have a rule where their steel cannot be painted white. It can be any other color but white. So here's a perfect opportunity of having a piece of steel out there painted the same color as the targets, and it's just another item you access. So I think that might be a very a positive for that discipline.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that comment.
Larry, one of the most prideful parts for me about being part of the Steel Target Paint family is just the support that Steel Target Paint offers to the shooting community. You're a shooter yourself, and you talked a little bit about how you came up with the paint in the past, but the amount that you give back is... I know that there's other great companies out there that are giving back. I know the economic times are a little bit better than what they once were, but there was a lot of during the periods of times where other companies were cutting back their sponsorship and their donations and goodwill to the shooting community. Steel Target Paint really, really stepped up. Do you have any perspective on how many matches in the last 12 months that you've supported in terms of sponsorship?
That's a great question. I know we get several requests a day for matches that are looking for sponsorship, and we try to help them all. In the beginning, we started out with the nationals, all the USPSA nationals. We supported the Rimfire Worlds. We supported a lot of the area and sectional matches. And now the word's really gotten out, and I couldn't give you a number actually. It would take me a while to even figure that out. There's so many of them, but we've got a good program now for sponsorship. We encourage people to reach out to us for sponsorship on matches because we have a specific program for them now, and we have good discount programs for clubs too, to take advantage of that buy in bulk. So there's all kinds of good programs. If we're asked, man, we want to deliver.
What's the best way they can get a hold of you to start that process for those that may be starting a new club or coming up with a new match?
Well, social media is a great way to do it. That's where we hear from a lot of folks. Email LJ Steeley Jr. at rainbowtech.net is my email, and that's the best way for me to communicate with my team. Misty Wood is our sponsorship coordinator here, and she does a great job at taking care of our customers and the match directors on sponsorships. So she handles all that for us and doing a great job.
It's been exciting to see the team grow. There's different level of sponsorship support at the team level, and I think we're right around 50 team members across the United States. So that started with one about 2 years ago, and it's grown exponentially. And thank you personally, and I know all the other members of Steel Target Paint family sponsored shooters really appreciate everything that you've done. It's more than just a relationship between a shooter and a company. It's consider you a close friend and something that came out of shooting of all things. That's one thing about the shooting community. It's just it's a great place to meet people, and so I appreciate all that you've done for me as well as the other shooters on our team.
Well, thanks for saying that, Stephen. You're welcome. We've enjoyed the relationship, and that it's a good thing you bring that up, because one of the most important things that I look forward to when I go to a match is seeing the people. That all the friendships all the people that have been so supportive of the product, of Steel Target Paint and RangeStore.net is just amazing. So it is truly the highlight for me, is to see the people. Shooting's fun, painting targets is fun, love all that, but man, it's the people that make it.
Well, I'll second that.
Completely agree.
I have the same sentiments as Steve does, as feeling fortunate to be part of this team. And I tell you, at this year's Nationals and at the Worlds, walking around and seeing all the different people in Steel Target Paint shirts and not knowing all of them, and then getting to meet them because you've got that one connection of being on the same team, that was a lot of fun for me. So again, from me too, Larry, thank you very much.
And you're welcome, Jeff. It's a pleasure and an honor. I often reflect on this as something bigger than ourselves. It has grown to that. It is bigger than us now. So as just being good stewards, good friends, responsible company, responsible to our Second Amendment rights, all of that is bigger than us. And so that is the perspective that I have on it today. And it has grown to that. It just blows me away.
That's great. Larry, I want to go, if I could, I want to turn back the clock just about a full year ago. You know, we didn't talk about this necessarily ahead of time, and I saw it out on social media, and then you reached out to me, and, you know, you started an ad campaign. I'd say it's an ad campaign, but it was all for charitable purposes. And it came out with Paint for the Cure, where you released a special line of pink paint, and you know, you asked clubs around the country to have a Shoot for the Cure match, and the local match that I shoot, we set a record. You know, they've done other type charity matches, but this was focused on a breast cancer match, and they raised over $3,000. Is there any plans to do that type of program for next year?
Well, you know, it's still in the discussion phase. We enjoy doing that, and we want to do more of that. It's part of our giving back. Certainly, you know, that pink ribbon has touched a lot of people, and it's very significant for a lot of families. So it's really important to us that we do some of that giving back, and that was a small way for us to participate in that. You know, we didn't make any money on that. We did that at cost, and hopefully we can put that one again, put that one together again this year.
Great.
But we'll be releasing that here pretty soon, because it's, you know, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and we want to be prepared. So
let me ask you another question around back to the sponsored shooters. You know, I get questions all the time because I know my affiliation with Steel Target Paint and the role that I serve as the team captain, and I get a lot of questions around what are you looking for in a sponsored shooter. And so I'll flip that question to you. What do you look for a sponsored shooter? I know every company is a little bit different, but certainly looking forward to your insight that you can share with the audience.
Well, that is a really good question, and certainly that's one that you and I have talked about from time to time. You know, and I touched on some of it a minute ago. It's not necessarily the best shooter that we look for. You know, a good competent shooter is good, but someone that is a good steward for the shooting industry as a whole, who represents the Second Amendment rights well, who has a good presentation and representation on social media, that knows how to support their sponsors and knows how to get the word out for their sponsor, who doesn't mind handing out samples, following up, that kind of thing, you know, that helps us grow the business. Those things are key for us. We love to support people like that through you know, being generous with the samples, through promoting them, and those are the basics, I would say.
Sure. Jeff, what questions do you have for Larry?
Well, actually, Steve, I think you hit on all of them. I sitting back here and listening and going, man, I wish, that's a good question, Steve. That last one was fantastic. I think a lot of people don't realize that exactly what Larry hit upon. It's not always about being the best shooter. It's not becoming a grandmaster in a division. It's not about being able to shoot a stage faster than everybody else. It's really more about the personality of the person. And if someone on the range comes up and says, hey, you shoot for Steel Target Paint, can you tell me about the product? That you're ready to be able to give them your experiences with that product. Or if you're shooting for a gun manufacturer, or if you're shooting for a steel target manufacturer, whatever it happens to be, that you're able to talk about that and that you're approachable. And that's what people are looking for. So I think that's going to help a lot of people understand, why. For me personally, I love being part of things, and being part of the team was probably the most important thing for me. I still remember the exact moment at Nationals this year, and Larry walked down to the stage and handed me my Steel Target Paint shirt, and I literally ripped the shirt off my back to put that on to shoot that next stage and every subsequent stage in that shirt. And I think, for people that are looking for something like that, you can find the team that'll provide that. I've been very fortunate and found that.
Well, Jeff, we're definitely glad to have you for sure. And something that you just mentioned a couple moments ago, the shooting industry itself is very, very small. I mean, there's only a couple of degrees of separation from knowing everybody in the shooting community, and people would be amazed and surprised about match experience that, people do, business owners and team captains and whatnot. There's a lot of discussion that happens off the range about who would be a good fit for your brand and who's not a good fit for your brand. I've had several conversations just in the last couple of weeks about, hey, Steve, you're out there a lot. What can you tell me about this person? Would they be, our organization, would they be a good fit? And you're right. It's not just who can shoot the fastest. It's about the fit with the organization for sure. Because when you're wearing that jersey, I am Steel Target Paint. When I have a Tactical Solutions logo on my jersey, I'm representing Tactical Solutions, because a lot of the people that I see at local matches or one of the 10 or 11 major matches I'll shoot around the country, they don't have direct interaction with chat, but they do with Steve out on the range. Steve is the guy, or Jeff, or fill in the blank, as a brand ambassador, are the people that are having those conversations on behalf of the brand. And so it's very, very important, whether it's in our professional lives or our personal lives when we're doing shooting, it really is all about the people. And we've been very fortunate that we've assembled such a great team of folks.
I agree. And I'm gonna let a little cat out of the bag to all the listeners. I have a real job. Steve has a real job. Larry has a real job. We're all shooters, but we all have real jobs that pay the bills. And I say this to people all the time. It would be wonderful if you go to the range, if you were a shooter and someone bought your guns and bought you ammo and paid for your way to the matches and even paid your match fees. That would be fantastic. But who's going to pay for your dinner tonight? And who's going to make that car payment? It's wonderful to think that we're all out here on these teams and that's all we do and all we have to do is shoot. But we all have real jobs. And I think if a lot of people can keep that into perspective, there are a few out there that can make a living as a shooter. But the one I like to use the most, and he doesn't shoot Steel Challenge much anymore, but he did in the past, and he's a very accomplished shooter, and that's is Rob Latham. Rob Latham is actually a Springfield Armory employee. Now, he's in the gun industry, but they're paying his salary. He's not making money out there shooting. So, when you're looking to get on a team, keep it into perspective. Larry put it perfectly. You're out there representing that company. And sometimes there are spiffs that are able to be provided. And you know what? I'm going to say this. Any shooter that's out there that's making a living as a shooter, please post it on our Facebook page for the podcast. Search Facebook for Steel Target Paint Podcast. I would love to meet all the shooters who are out there making a living because they're shooting. And this isn't to be a negative, people. This is just to kind of lay it into perspective that this is a wonderful sport, and if you can make a living at it, that'd be fantastic. I would just like to meet everybody who can.
All right, let's talk a little bit about rangestore.net. Larry, some of our listeners know what steel target paint is, and they've used it at matches. Maybe they've bought it for their home range. But could you walk us through a little bit about what rangestore.net is and where it has evolved from and where it's going?
Yeah, that's a good question, Steve. We needed an outlet, an online outlet for steel target paint, and so we came up with rangestore.net to do that with. But we also have so many other products, either that we currently manufacture under the Rainbow label, such as the insect repellents and the sunscreens and the lens cleaners and those types of products, to our sponsors' products like Pro Ears, like SJC Comps, and especially Hunter's HD Gold. Hunter's HD Gold glasses, as you guys know, are freaking awesome. So we represent those guys as well on rangestore.net. I mean, like you said, Jeff, I got a day job. Rangestore.net is an online presence to help grow the business for the people who believe in us. So those people I mentioned that sponsor our team are also getting the benefit of online sales through rangestore.net. Steel Target Paint is the primary product for rangestore.net, but it is not the only product, and we have since added quite a few other products and intend to grow it even more as things come up and demand shows that it would be worthy to have on there. But certainly we're being successful with it now. Look forward to some future success and growing through promoting rangestore.net, and I think everybody will be seeing that more and more. If you've seen our new jerseys, you've seen rangestore.net kind of plastered on those, but we're also going to be doing swag. We're going to be, really promoting rangestore.net.
Fantastic. So one of the essential items that you can buy on rangestore.net is those Knuckle Towels. Where did you get those things from? Those things are awesome.
Please tell, Larry. Those are awesome.
Yeah, we get that a lot. The Knuckles Towels is a product that's been in our line for many years. The telephone industry, the power industry, all the industrial guys that we sell those to, you just got to get them to use it one time and they're hooked. And it is a great product that removes everything from paint to grease and everything else. So I mean, it works, as you know, very well. So it doesn't really take a whole lot of selling. You just get it in somebody's hands, let them use it, and they're hooked. We've got a new packaging option on rangestore.net for 12. We call it our range bag pack. It's 12 of those wipes in a bag. So it's just the right amount for throwing in the range bag, so you have some on the go, be there ready when you need it. Well, we've also got the lens cleaner wipes combined with some of the Knuckles hand cleaner wipes too.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Fortunate sometimes that as I mentioned a while ago, the wind, you can't control the wind. Sometimes the overspray gets on your stuff. Knuckles can get that off. Sometimes you get it on your Hunter's HD Gold glasses. The lens cleaner wipes will get it off.
It's kind of a funny story. I was shooting that St. Augustine match here. I guess it's been about 2-3 months or so ago. And I got so many questions. It started off with, "Hey, Steve," and then it always went down the path of, "Hey, do you got any more of those Knuckle Towels I could have?" And so I always have some in my range bag. That and Steel Target Paint stickers. So if you need a Steel Target Paint sticker, come and see me. But yeah, those Knuckle Towels are on fire.
To the next level with the Knuckle Towels, while I have them in my range bag and the nice single package ones, I bought the bucket of Knuckles, the bucket of Knuckle Towels, and it actually sits in my loading room. And so when I'm done loading or whatever I'm doing out there, grab a Knuckle Towel, clean up, and my hands are as clean as I walked into the room. So another great option for packaging those knuckle towels up.
Yeah, we sell probably 95% of it in the buckets. The wipes are great samples, and the single packs, we use that as swag product for, all the matches that we sponsor. We send them some of the knuckles. So they've gotten out there. People have used them. People love them.
Well, Larry, thank you so much for taking the time on to be on the show. I know Jeff and I really appreciate it, and I'm sure our listeners do, just to have that little bit of insight into who you are as a person as well as Steel Target Paint. Is there anything you'd like to add? Any other parting thoughts?
Just that it's just a huge honor for me, guys. Again, it's something that grew bigger than I ever thought it would. The ride has been amazing to this point, and looking forward to what the future holds in both for Steel Target Paint and RangeStore.net, the team. It continues to grow. A lot of that thanks to you for your leadership and management for seeing that thing grow. I mean, it's largely due to you, buddy, and I'm grateful for that.
Appreciate that for sure. Well, Jeff, I think that was pretty good for our first show. It seems like we just started.
I know.
Time went by quick.
Absolutely.
Well, as you know, there's a lot of major matches out there. So let's talk about some of the upcoming major matches in the next 6 to 7 weeks. Jeff, do you have any top of mind?
Got one, and it's one near and dear to my heart, and it's the match that we are hosting at the Wyoming Antelope Club, the West Florida Steel Challenge Championships.
In Clearwater, Florida.
Clearwater, Florida. And one of the best parts about this match, everybody, is Larry and Steve are both going to be there. They're coming down to the match, and in this match is sponsored. The lead sponsor is Steel Target Paint. We've got a number of other great things. I'm going to let the cat out of the bag. Yesterday it sold out, but I am taking a wait list. So if you are interested, you can send me an email. The information's on the sign-up page at matchsignup.org. But that is one that we're looking forward to. The next one coming up is, by the way, that's August 11th and 12th. About 2 weeks later, on the 24th and 25th, is an interesting match. I didn't ever heard about it, but I actually went to their webpage. It's called the Bonnie and Clyde Shootout, and this is in Texarkana, Texas. Fortunately, that's a little distant for me to go, but it sounds like it might be a good match. So if you're in the Texarkana area, definitely check out that Bonnie and Clyde Shootout.
Well, congratulations, Jeff, on selling out on your match. That's amazing, especially this is the first year of that match, correct? That is correct. Absolutely. Oh, that's fantastic. Well, there's a couple others down in Florida actually coming up. August 31st, September 1st is the Southeast Steel Challenge Regionals in St. Augustine, Florida. And then September 7th through 9th is the Area 6 Championships, and that's in New Smyrna Beach, Florida. So I told the wife that we need to pack the kids in some bathing suits so they can go to Clearwater, play with the Dolphins, and then head down to New Smyrna Beach. And then after that, we have the East Coast Steel Challenge Championship.
Serious shooting coming up, everybody. So, we're going to, Steve and I and Larry are going to be at some of these matches. Some of them we're going to be at all the matches. Absolutely. I think I can speak for both Steve and Larry, and of course, I'll speak for myself, where I say, if you see us on the range, come up, shake our hands, ask us any questions you want about Steel Target Paint, the team, or tips and tricks, anything you'd like. You're not going to find three more personable guys on the range than us. And I'm the easy one to find because I'm the loud one.
Jeff, you said it, so I didn't have to. Well, thanks again, Larry. We really appreciate it. Well, this one's a wrap, Jeff.
I think so. You know what? I'm going to sign off with something I've been saying to a lot of people, and that is, on the range, don't forget, one shot, one steal.